You know, yeah. Then you get rid of the thing. And you go buy another one, the chance you take.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Public Safety Committee meeting for Washington County for the month of April is in order with 4 members in attendance and Supervisor Peter Gundry attending remotely. This meeting has been appropriately posted through the clerk's office. We will be doing a moment of silence prayer and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The items on the consent agenda, were there any questions, comments, or any items that needed attention? If not, those items will stand as presented. Under discussion and possible actions with the committee's indulgence, we would ask that item 3J be moved to the beginning, so that our Chief of Public Works can get on to other business this morning. So we'll begin with, if there is no disagreement, with item 3J, the resolution for general fund transfer and placement of gas and pipes in the jail. And I would entertain a motion for approval. Supervisor Byrd, second Supervisor Palmer.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I do have something as previously recognized regarding Chief of Public Works. We also do have a Director of Administration, Mr. Aaron Ball here as well to explain any financial aspects of the issue, as well as we do have Sheriff Schulteis present in the event there's any questions for him. This Heydrich presented a tremendously in-depth, detailed report based on the video that they conducted this past week. So if there are any questions, we do have the professionals here to answer this.
And the information in the packet was extensive in my light or complete. And it's one of those things that I think we know we need to do. Are there any questions or comments from the committee?
I have one question. Is that going to take care of all of it, or is this only a partial?
So that'll take care. That'll take care of all of the waistlines. There's a supply line that is not corroded at all. We don't have any damage. And that's just the underground portion. We do have cast iron in throughout the jail that we've been replacing ad hoc for years. So we anticipate that we're gonna still have some pieces, but this is the section that's disrupted the operations. The other ones just, they cause leaks, we fix them, and then then they're done, so.
So these that are being replaced, what are they being replaced with?
PVC.
PVC. Is that, do they have to go in and tear everything out, or can they line these pipes?
In this situation, they have to go in and tear everything out, and if we were to go and try to line them, we're probably gonna break them and then cause an emergency situation, so we need to go in and replace them. We did a section of it on an emergency basis in January, and we have to go through 6 inches of concrete and then dig in the dirt underneath to get to the pipes. So we'd like to not do this on an emergency basis. This particular section is the main, everything flows to one pump, the part that's the worst. And if that were to break unexpectedly, the whole kitchen would be down immediately. So allowing us to do this now gives us the opportunity to bring in some temporary kitchen operations. And get this done during daytime hours, which will be less, it'll be more cost effective for us.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item A on the event, introduction of Dustin Hope, emergency management coordinator.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. We do have Mr. Dustin Wolfe here present today. He was onboarded on March 31st with the pending retirement of Rob Schmidt on April 2nd after 23 years of dedicated service to Washington County. Mr. Wolfe started in Washington County with Richmond Fire, made his way around southeastern Wisconsin and found home. So we're happy to have him. So here he is.
Good morning. I look forward to working with everybody. As Dave said, I started here at Richfield back in 2003 as a volunteer firefighter. Eventually worked actually here at Washington County as a 911 dispatcher for many years. Worked in the fire service for quite some time, full time. And then most recently working as an emergency management coordinator with Aurora Health Kitchen. So again, looking forward to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to meet you and best wishes as you begin your career here.
Thank you.
Item 3D, medical examiner report. Good morning and welcome, medical examiner Siddle.
Morning, everybody. I apologize, I will have my phone out, just I'm the only one on call today, so that is, that's what we're dealing with today. So I did send you guys our 2024 annual report, which I don't think our office has put out an annual report in some time. So maybe not the prettiest, but I put it together. I think it's really nice. Just summary of kind of what we did last year and some of the highlights for the office. So I will just kind of draw your attention to a few things that I am particularly proud of. We have really pushed for medication donation in the community. So we do collect medications at all the scenes that we respond to, any that are unopened or unused previously had just been disposed of. And so there was a clinic in West Bend that was accepting some of our donations. They changed ownership, things kind of changed a little bit there. So we found another community, another free clinic. It's actually in Oconomowoc, so not Washington County, but they've been taking a lot of our unopened and unused prescriptions, as well as like diabetic supplies and insulin and things like that, and redistributing it out to the community. So that's something that most people probably wouldn't expect to come out of the medical examiner's office, but something that I think is really cool that we continue to do. Then we participated in quite a few like community events last year, which I think was really awesome. And we did bring in a couple of students for just job shadowing and things like that, which has been really fun. So as far as statistics go, our total cases reported last year did not vary much from years prior. But I would bring you just kind of to two areas here. So on page 11 and 12, where we get into our drug-related deaths, you'll see that drug-related statistics have been declining over the past few years, which is really a great thing to see. However, on the other end of things, if you go down to page 14, you will see that our suicide is trending up over the last 5 years. In fact, last year was unfortunately a record high year. We had not had numbers like that since back in 2016. So just something that I'm looking at and thinking about ways that we can kind of work towards seeing how we can introduce a little bit more prevention into the community. So something you'll probably hear me talk about in the future. And then just getting into 2025 brief updates for the office so far. We are reorganizing our staffing just a tiny bit. We lost a full-timer in April. And I have decided to replace that full-time position with 2 part-timers instead. One was already a limited staff member of ours, and the other one is an intern that we've had with us this spring that will be graduating in May, and then she'll be coming on part-time. So really excited about that. I think it's gonna give us a lot more flexibility, less on-call time, less chance for burnout for my staff, so I think that'll be really good. Speaking of the spring intern, we've had an intern, which again, I don't think our office has had an intern in some time. It's been really fun to have her in the office. She went to school where I went to, she's in the same program that I went to, and funny enough, I did like a pseudo internship in Washington County when Kelly McAndrews was the medical examiner years ago, so it's been really fun to like have a full circle moment and have my own intern, so she's really excited about coming into the office and doing the work, so that's very exciting. We've done 24 autopsies so far this year, 55 scenes, 31 transports. We're slightly ahead of where we were last year for caseload. And then just an update on the medical examiner transition. It's been going very well so far from the standpoint of death certification, which is something that was a priority of mine when we made that change. We only have 5 of our 24 autopsy cases still pending. All of our external exams are signed out. And DC turnaround has improved from about 23 days to about 2 weeks. So we're turning those death certificates around much quicker, which is really good for families and the office as a whole. So any questions about those items?
Any questions from the committee? I appreciate your report, nice and colorful and bright, and interesting, so thank you for that, and to the point, so that was good. With regard to the recovering and redistributing, excuse me, prescription meds. I think that's something that just makes sense, and that's one of the hallmarks of Washington County is that we do things that just make sense. Yeah, there's something that's useful, there's something that's valuable that someone else can use, even if we can't. Yeah, there's no sense throwing it away. Find somebody that can use it. So thank you for demonstrating the thrift in that area. Moving on to the next item, item 3C, therapy dog discussion.
Okay, so I'm here to just sort of test the waters and see how we feel about the thought of potentially introducing a therapy dog into the medical examiner's office. As you've seen the statistics on the caseload and the sort of deaths that our staff are dealing with, their mental health is obviously a priority of mine. And so we have tossed around the idea of perhaps introducing a therapy dog into the medical examiner's office. This would be a shared resource for the county, although we would be the primary handlers and owners of the dog. We would definitely share it with other county departments. Therapy dogs are becoming much more popular, I would say, in the mental health world and in public safety in particular. You can see them in lots of police stations, fire stations. They're being introduced into schools, nursing homes, hospitals, all over the place, right? And the reason is, there is scientific evidence that dogs will reduce stress and anxiety. I can't think of anything better than coming back from a hard call and getting some puppy cuddles at the office. Can support employee retention, job satisfaction, and I think if we use it in a collaborative way within the county, you're going to enhance some of your partnerships within the county departments as well by kind of building that gap, building that bridge. Introducing a dog and kind of building those relationships, I think would be really awesome. We've talked to dispatch, we've talked to people in the court system, Health and Human Services. I'd love to have it with us when we do kind of our community engagement events. I think it could be a great resource even for our local funeral homes who often don't really get that kind of recognition that they deserve. They deal with the same, the same stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis. So, again, in the very early stages of just kind of discussing it, seeing what your thought might be on this, we did explore a couple options on how to obtain a therapy dog for the county, which I did detail in the report. So I guess, I'm sort of just opening up to questions or discussion. What you guys think?
Any questions or comments from the committee?
I got lots of questions.
Go ahead.
I guess I think that ongoing financial responsibility or just liability of the county altogether, where would this dog be kept? Who's one handler, multiple handlers? There's so many questions.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of that would still probably have to be fleshed out once we decide to kind of pursue it officially, but I think the decision, the conversation right now is that I would be the primary handler. Randy in my office, my other full timer would be the secondary handlers, so we would be the primary caretakers of the dog. The dog would spend most of its time in our office, but like I said, we would loan it out to different departments as they would wish to have it. We would have to have, you know, policies and procedures around that and talk to, county attorney about and the clerk about insurance or what that would look like. At this point, I don't think we would, besides community events, we're not gonna take it to scenes or be bringing it to like high stress environments like that necessarily. And then depending on the route that we would go to obtain the dog, there is a foundation that donates station dogs free to first responders, so the initial training would be covered and the delivery and training would be covered. And then our ongoing costs would just be like food and vet bills, which I would estimate maybe to be in the $1,000 to $2,000 category, depending on where we would go for vet care. I think the sheriff just uses the veterinarian next door, so we would probably utilize the same location, as I think they give us pretty good pricing, so.
You mind if I go ahead and Supervisor? Jean?
Sure, go ahead.
There obviously are a lot of details that we would need to sort out, and you're asking the right questions. I think it's, at this point, though, the real question that the medical examiner is looking at is there opposition to the concept? And yes, we will have to go through, and there will always be questions. Oh, is that the best use of taxpayer money? And all those things will have to be dealt with. But at this point, provided that all those things can be answered correctly and appropriately for the county, is there any opposition from this public safety committee to moving forward, or at least allowing the medical examiner to explore the concept further?
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. I knew we weren't gonna get these other answers today. It's just all that's
Yeah,
questions.
of course.
If you're looking for an opinion from us here and myself, I will say that not necessarily opposed to the idea, but I'm not necessarily sold that the medical examiner's office is the right place for it. No offense to your department, it's just, I think if I was, in my opinion, to see something like this, I think maybe Health and Human Services or, you know, would get more use out of it.
Sure.
If that's
Yeah.
the right word to say.
Well, and I would say too, I think my purpose is more like internal use, right, for staff, for our employees, so. That would kind of be my thought about it. There are medical examiners offices in the country that have therapy dogs and have had very good outcomes with them, so.
That was gonna be my follow-up question is this common?
I wouldn't say it's common, but it is, there are a few offices around, and I think for the most part, that's just because the medical examiner's office is generally not considered like a first responder. And so there is sort of that, there's limited, I don't wanna say it's limited support, but we don't always get kind of that same benefit that some of the other first responders do, but it is talked about more, they're doing more studies about PTSD and burnout in this field. And so there are only a handful. I only talked to one office that has one, and they said they've had very good success with it, but yeah, it's not a real like raving popular thing at this moment.
I would like to see to continue with it.
Okay.
We recently did a rescue a year ago. And sometimes there's a lot of stress there, but I couldn't imagine walking into a funeral home and seeing the dog there. But the one that I have would be, it's a doodle, it's a golden doodle, and from what I understand, they make excellent
Yeah.
dogs. And if I'm not mistaken, the Germantown Police Department has the one.
Yes.
It's gonna be Archie, which is gonna be in service for a year now,
Mhm.
and you hear just fantastic things about him, so I would think continue with it.
Any other comments? All right, very good, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Moving on to item 3D on the agenda, district attorney funding. basically what we're looking for here is there is funding going forward, but there's a gap of $13,020.88. So we would entertain a motion to move that the Public Safety Committee request Finance Director to recommend the means for funding the position for the balance of 2025.
I'll make a motion.
The motion for Paul, second for Bird. Is there any further discussion or any other background information that we need on this item? Or any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Hi.
The motion carries. Item 3E, review of active shooter training.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I just wanted to update everyone. I believe you all did receive an invitation to the active shooter training that was conducted March 25th and March 28th, courtesy of our fantastic Washington County Sheriff's Department, Sergeant Brodich, Deputy Seidel, and Sergeant Hennis. So they held that. They had 8 different sessions. We just did it in particular to the Justice Center because we wanted it to be germane to the areas in which they normally come to work. We had one scheduled this summer in August for the PAC, but very well attended, very informative. And if you have the opportunity, please try to attend one of them. But they did a fantastic job. Very somber, heavy material, but necessary. So it gives everyone the awareness and what to do in the event that we have an issue. We just had something in Texas yesterday for an active shooter in one of the schools. So it is not uncommon. You know, it's one of those things where it'll never happen here or whatever the case may be, but it's really our sheriff's department did a fantastic job, as they always do.
Thank you for that report. Were there any questions from the committee? If not, we'll move on to the next item, item 3F. Fire EMS assessment study update.
Yes, so we had the chief elected officials and the Washington County Chiefs joint meeting, March 27th, where the fire and assessment study was revealed as a draft form. Went very well. What you have before you was the final draft after any omissions or corrections were made to that study from March 27th. The executive is going to speak to the county board as a whole, either in May or in June, and to give somewhat of an outline and perspective going forward. I know that the Washington County Chiefs Association, I'll be attending their meeting tonight at 6:30 as a subcommittee, a steering committee, based on the recommendations that the healthcare strategist provided. So we're not wasting any time in digging in deep and finding solutions.
Are there any questions or comments from the committee? I have a couple. Is the work of healthcare strategists complete, or will they still be involved going forward to some extent?
From the analysis standpoint, yes, they're complete. However, they will stay on board with anything that needs to be done in an effort to try and stand up the recommendations that have been provided. I'm personally doing further analysis that I'll be able to provide you to drill much deeper as far as our run volume, our incident types, and so on and so forth that healthcare strategists touched on, but they only had data from 23 up to 2023. I have 2024, obviously, because the year wasn't done. So, but I'm doing a much deeper dive on that and be able to provide that to you. So, it's very interesting to me. Maybe not to everybody, but I know Mr. Gall would like it because it's spreadsheet heavy. So, I like that stuff. So it does tell a story. Data tells stories. So, but yes, they will, to answer your question, they will still be on board.
Thank you. And Chairman Schleifer.
I would like to personally thank you, Mr. Steger. Your experience with the Milwaukee Fire Department and years of service, obviously are helping us a great deal in this endeavor, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you too.
Supervisor.
So I've been involved with a lot of these meetings in this whole process with the fire departments and everything, and I think when we got the draft, my perception from everyone involved was there's nothing surprising here.
Correct.
A lot of everything we kind of knew already, but it was important, I think, to open everyone's eyes as a group, you know, collaboratively and try to use this to get buy-in to make some changes, you know, maybe I'll say shared services amongst, you know, our departments because they're very proud of what they do and what they have and their operations. And sometimes that comes into play when we try to, you know, share services. So I think it was received well. It at least got everybody in the room between the people that are paying the bills and the people that are doing the work, you know, the EMS player. So I think it was a success and I hope that we can start using some of these recommendations moving forward. So
We most certainly will, Supervisor. And
I think
just to answer your, to comment on what you said, most fire and EMS studies are somewhat of a cut and paste. You don't ask for a study unless you have issues. However, in fire and EMS, specific to your point, there's a lot of tradition, a lot of pride. And basically having a study like this, even though it is somewhat of a cut and paste, it's a launching point for everyone to say, oh, okay, the county is invested in this. The county chiefs came to you as the board and to the executive and said, we need help. And so when you have this collaborative effort pushing the agenda and you invested the resources to launch a study, that's typically the genesis of moving the needle on improvements, collaboration, shared services, and that's, to your point, exactly what's happening. So it's really gonna be, I'm excited about it. So it's gonna be really good.
I've seen a major change in the last 15 years in my community. You know, we had two very proud departments that, you know, I would say, I wouldn't go as far as say they didn't want to work together, but, you know, this is my department, that's my department. In the last 15 years, based on all the problems and funding and personnel and volunteers, they've really come together and they're more of a team now for my community. So this, I hope, is gonna help with the county-wide. You know, everybody
It's
working
gonna be really good. It really is.
together.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Right.
Communication is key.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you for shepherding this through the process and look forward to working with you more as we go forward. Item 3G, to request for municipal public safety radio grant. The packet was, as always, fairly complete. What we're looking for is a motion to approve $38,000. We have one from Supervisor Newland. The second, Supervisor Fulmer. Any questions or comments on this site? If there are none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Are there any opposed? That motion carries. Similar item next for the Village of Slinger Fire Department. This, in this item, we're looking for a motion to approve $31,000 for public safety radio grant. Motion from Supervisor Newland, second from Supervisor Burke. Any comments on this one? Not all in favor say aye.
Hi.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3I is the use of strategic priorities funds for equipment purchases and emergency management. In this item, we would look for a motion to approve recommend the approval of $6,000 for emergency management.
I'll make a motion. Thank you.
Motion from Supervisor Toma with a second from Supervisor Bird. And for discussion, could we have some, what kind of equipment are we looking at? What kind of, what are y'all looking for?
We're replacing some of the equipment that Rob Schmidt had, so much as computer hardware, things of that nature. Just updating what he had in his office. I can say this because I'm in that category now, but Rob really liked paper and pencils and writing things down and filing them in a cabinet. And, you know, just, we're gonna push it to a whole nother level in that office, working alongside Eric Bamcott and his team in GIS and just really map this out in a very comprehensive fashion. And we just don't have the technology in the offices currently to provide that.
Very good. As part of that, would we be looking at digitizing existing paper documents for the future, or are we,
I started that, I don't mean to interrupt you. I started that process with the IT department with the SharePoint. And with Rob, and it just was a little bit overwhelming for him to try and wrap his head around that, but yes, that's in the process. I know IT has it all built out and ready to upload anything and everything. But going forward, I know Mr. Lopez, he's hit the ground running pretty hard. So it will all be digitized and it will all be accessible with the technology you have instead of a plastic bin in the emergency truck with papers in it. So,
got it. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the committee?
I just have a question, you mentioned computer replacement. Is it, and maybe this is Aaron or Scott's gone, but is it typical for the department to have to budget themselves for that type of equipment, or is it generally through our IT?
Generally, departments budget for those themselves. They have an IT line in their budget for equipment like that. We do that so that some departments are able to recoup those expenses through grants. So we charge them to those departments rather than just kind of centrally house it.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Anything else? Then motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And the last item, 3K, annual jail inspection for Wisconsin statute 59.5415.
okay, Mr. Chairman, this is something that's done annually. The word inspection is a little bit too in depth. It's basically what it is any member of the public safety committee or any member of the county board, we just have to walk through the jail. You know, it's not like a white glove type of thing, or it's just basically showing you what we have here at the county, from county to county, per state statute. So I'm just looking to get that on the schedule, put it on your radar. That if any, you know, set up a date, work alongside Captain Lehman and Sheriff Schulteis to see when we can have that opportunity just to conform to the state statute. So just something that doesn't necessarily need to be decided today, but I'll discuss with Captain Lehman and Sheriff Schulteis as to what opportunity or days are available for them. And I'll get back to you with those and see if anything can match up.
A couple clarifying questions. First, is this a requirement of the state we do the walkthrough, or is this the requirement that we be provided with the opportunity to do a walkthrough?
I should hear the sheriff.
Sure.
Here comes the sheriff.
So it is by state statute, state statute 59, it's a requirement. It's either the county board or committee thereof, and are the committee thereof. It is required annually, at least annually. What we typically have done is if we have a light agenda meeting for public safety is done at maybe directly after the meeting or with the meeting. What we've also done in the past is also invited the entire county board, let them know if they're available, if they're interested in seeing the jail, they can see the facility as well.
Thank you. I would suggest that maybe it would make more sense to do it immediately after one of our regularly scheduled meetings. I don't see that there's a need to wait. I would suggest that we schedule that for after our main meeting on the 21st. Are there any opposed to that idea?
Before or after a meeting?
After the If there are none opposed, if it works with the sheriff department schedule, why don't we plan for that? And then we could also issue the invitation to the county board, see if there are those who wish to attend as well.
we will make that work. No problem.
All right. Thank you very much. Anything else we need to follow up on in this issue as far as? Chairman's wife, would you issue the invitation to the county board or Kayla?
Kayla's already on.
All right, Kayla, good for us.
The only thing I would advise is if, CCW weapons at all, I know that stuff could be in the jail, so, just refrain from having any weapons at all.
Very good. Thank you. Anything else we need
You
to
talk about our weapons or their weapons?
Thank you, Ursula.
Okay.
If there's nothing else, we will adjourn. Our next meeting date is May 21st. And we'll be here and then immediately afterwards, carry on to the jail. Thank you for your attention and interest. Have a great day.